Recording. You're not
Welcome
supposed to.
to the
You're not
Fleeting
supposed to.
Thoughts podcast with
Welcome.
Joseph Gray and Channing Cornwall.
Late night with the team. It's late
Late
night.
night in the middle of the day.
Oh yes, that's a very sensual voice, or creepy.
I know.
It's a very creepy, sensual, deep voice.
It's all into what you're into, you know. Maybe it's like
Yes,
an
all
ASMR
right.
kind of voice for some people, and then
Ooh,
other people feel
ASMR.
like that there's somebody about to
Welcome.
sexually assault them. Hello, welcome to this alleyway that we found
hello.
together.
Hello.
I don't know
didn't
you,
lure
but I
you
want to
here.
get to know you. No, not at all.
Thanks for being lured here. This is very nice.
I called and you answered. Hello.
No, don't touch my butt. No.
Oh, I would never touch a person's butt. That's nasty. That's where the poo-poo comes out. I don't touch that. That's a filthy hole.
Oh.
That's a dirty hole.
Well, what were you going for then?
I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to get to know you.
Oh, okay. So you lured me out into the fucking alley just to fucking have a chat. You know, we could have talked in the bar. We were in the bar, and
I'm not allowed in there anymore.
I'm not allowed in there anymore. Well, the nice voice,
right? I should work a whole shift at work just talking like that.
Hey there.
Hello, thanks for calling.
Yes.
Channing, how can I help you?
That's nice. I like
You're
that.
experiencing a behavioral health crisis? Well, you've called the right place.
I've been on Xanax for 14 months. You sound like you're on some sweet drugs.
Yeah, they're immediately just like, whatever you're taking, dude, that's what I want, because you're clearly in a good place.
I've got a 4 o'clock mental brain appointment.
4 o'clock mental brain appointment is real nice.
Hey, Janet, that's nice to meet you. I got a 4 o'clock mental brain thing. I need to get all fucking checked out and shit. I lost my home back there, and I'm houseless.
Lost my home back there.
What do they call them? House and it disabled?
Transient.
No, they don't call them that.
That's what
you call them.
Houseless, homeless.
No, it's
transient.
Like house.
That's my favorite one.
House in what are they? Is it houseless?
I like transient. Well, I like transient only because it sounds like they're still going places. You know,
they don't
have a place to go, but they are going somewhere. They are transient.
I've been designated transient by the local police department. That's all right.
Everything's fine.
Don't worry about it.
What's the worst that could happen?
It's no problem. Y'all gonna help me with my brains? I need help with my brains. Just the other day,
that's exactly what people say when they call. Oh, this is the brain place, huh? My brain's all scrambled in my brain.
In my brain case.
My brain case. You know that hard thing that's like under the skin, right on your head. I mean, I know there's a brain in there, but what's that casing called? I can't. Oh God, I just can't remember. Skull. Oh God, it's skull. That's right. Sorry, I looked up to my dead pappy's trophy up there, and I'm just like, oh, that's right. That's a skull. That's what that is. Skull.
I always remember because my dad pappy, he used to chew a lot, and he would chew skull. And that's how it remembers.
Oh, different kind of skull. I get what you mean.
He also had a lot of dead animals on the wall. There's
his favorite pastime is killing animals and putting them up on the wall.
There's no excuse not to know.
He just hang them up there till they got all stinky and rotten.
He just fucking hang them until they died. Yeah. They'd make all sorts of shitty fucking noises while they were dying.
Yeah. You want to come check out my daddy's noose room? It's pretty cool.
My daddy's noose room. It's a whole room dedicated to noose time.
Just go in there and there's this rafters and the noose is hanging and there's this things hanging from the nooses. Mostly they're dead, but you know, sometimes you can still get in there while one of them's still kicking around.
Ooh, that's a fresh one.
It's fidgeting, trying to escape. You silly little critter. You ain't gonna escape daddy's noose.
Yeah. He's got a whole room dedicated to him. You think you're leaving? Hells no.
Hell no.
Can't
My
leave
daddy
the
makes
newsroom.
My daddy was a Navy boy. He knows how to tie a knot.
Mm-hmm.
He worked part-time at the Gallows in downtown. So he's really good at tying knots and making nooses.
Hi, I'm Daddy. How's it going? Welcome to my newsroom. I was in the Navy. They loved me there.
And after I was discharged, I worked part-time at the Gallows.
Yeah. And then I
It's
took
hard
my
finding
job
work for a
home.
Navy man.
I took my job home and I just decided to set up my own home gallows. Go to homegallows.com.
Hell yes.
I'm selling my home gallows. It's just like wood and like a rope. And that's about it.
My little home gallows. There are little miniature ones. You can get real like life-size ones. I got practical ones, ones that are just for looking.
I got ones for squirrels, ones for raccoons, ones for tigers. The elusive tiger gallows
when she's being a bitch.
Just threaten her with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You don't have to actually gallows her.
No.
And flow.
Put a noose around her neck.
Or just point at it.
Scare her right good. Or if your woman's getting on your nerves with old Aunt Flo visiting, you just put a noose around her neck. You say, bitch, you don't cool it. I'm going to hit this here lever and that floor underneath your feet's going to give way. And then you're going to get all choked out if your neck doesn't snap.
I mean, I shouldn't have to explain how a gallows works, but like I do sometimes because they need to know.
I feel like if you explain it to them, they're fair,
Oh, that's right.
They're listening to you explain. Yeah, they're listening to you explain it. And they're like, oh, God, this man is not well. At any moment, he could flip that lever. I need to keep him talking. So then they sometimes will ask me, where did the word gallows even come from?
Yeah. What's the etymology of gallows? And I tell them, I was like, in 1873, they done made up a word for killing people by the neck.
Yep.
And it
was the neck hanging rope was just too long. Yep. There was neck hanging rope stand, they're like, that's too long. We can't keep saying that in the court of law. This man is found guilty and will hang by his neck till he is dead from the neck rope hanging stand. Too long. You just got to switch all them words out for gallows.
All them words.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just say gallows.
You were going to the gallows, boy, and you ain't coming back down. Breathing anyway. When you hang from a rope, you can pop an erection. Some men, while they're pissing their pants, will also sometimes shit themselves. And,
what else happens?
Sometimes they'll
keep going.
They'll have an orgasm as well. That's why autoerotic asphyxiation's a thing. Sometimes when you get all checked out.
The real trick of gallows work is making them dead before they come, because a lot of them are like, you know what, this is a good opportunity to whack it. That's why sometimes you got to tie their hands behind their backs. But if you forget and then they start grabbing it, you got to fucking shoot them in the face or something real quick.
Exactly, because it ain't appropriate for children to see a hanging man start jerking himself off.
It's important that the children's get there and watch the dead man dying, the almost dead man dying.
Yeah.
Because they need to learn that if they're bad, then that could be them. But we don't want them getting any fucking sexy ideas about sexual erotic asphyxiation or just general morbid sexual fantasies or necrophilia. These are not okay.
That's why this lady down over, it was this place in Texas I was working at part-time in the Gallows, and she had what she called her dick scissors. And so if somebody would pop in
Yep. Yeah, I've
just
heard
run
of
up there with
their
scissors and just snip that little bastard off while he's all hard pitching tent. She just snips.
Yep, she's just ready. She's just standing there ready with her dick scissors. Just ready. Hey,
I'll tell you what, no boy has ever tried to touch himself or popped an erection when she's around at the Gallows. I'll tell you what, you find a way. Right.
It's too scary to get an erection when she's sitting there.
No, because
it's ironic. It's ironic when she's not there. They get it, and when she's there, they don't. But we need her there when they get it. But if she's there, we don't need her. We can't have her there. It makes
it's a real conundrum. Is what I
sometimes
think.
I tell her to hide and then that way we could just have
And
some
then
fun. Yeah, we just
pop out
wait.
with your scissors if you see
Yeah,
him popping
and they're
in the
like,
erection.
"No, she was there the whole time.
Oh, no,
No,
and
there
it's
goes
too
my dick."
late. I can't get my erection going down.
Oh,
There's a lot of there's a lot of thoughts going through a man's head as he's hanging from the neck and dying.
Yeah,
You know?
I wish the process was faster,
A little faster,
just maybe a
but
little
sometimes
quicker.
kind of fun.
Yeah. I thought about
Well, that's why I
making.
hope for the old neck break, but don't always
Yeah,
happen.
see, that's what I was thinking about. It's like if we just make it taller, and then they get more momentum going downward, but then like the neck of the fucking thing is too thin, and then sometimes it just snaps forward.
Yeah,
and then they run the fuck off. They just it fucking breaks. They're in the crowd with the
there is
fucking
nothing
string.
more terrifying than seeing a man run out of town
With
with
a
a
boner.
broken noose around his neck and with an erection, and he's just running out of town going, "Ah!" And all them children. I just worry about the children. How are you going to explain to the children that you tried to kill a man by hanging from the neck, and now he's running away with a boner?
Yeah, we tried to break his neck, but then he just runned off.
Some men got strong necks.
So anyway, that's the gallows room by my daddy. Or wait, were we the dad at some point? I forget. Weren't we? I was the dad.
I don't know. Yeah, there was I don't know. The characters really, that was an odyssey.
It was really just like one character, but we both embodied it. That's right.
I hope that this is the first episode that somebody listens to of this show, and they're just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yes.
I was trying to get into this new podcast, and it was
I was
just
trying
these
to
two
get
guys
into
talking like a feminine
so
southern
hard.
gentleman.
I tried so hard.
Yeah, they were just talking about erections and hanging people, and
you know what? If you can't handle the truth, hang up the phone. That's what my daddy always used to say. But that's because he was on the other line in a prison.
And then he'd want to try to wrap that phone cord around some poor feller's neck.
Yeah, sometimes you'd hear gurgling on the other end, and you're like, "Daddy, you need to go," and he'd be like, "Yeah,
Daddy, you need to stop choking that good man out. He's just a security prison guard. He's just trying to do his job. He's got a wife and kids to get back to. Or if he's a poofster, maybe he's got another gentleman to go back to. I don't know. In this day and age, you never know.
Never know. Never assume someone's sexuality. Never assume sexuality.
Don't even assume that they're a she, he, or a they, because you just don't know.
She, he, it, him, her, that, them, their.
Well, I met a young, I was gonna say gentleman, but I guess he wasn't really a gentleman. But anyway,
not the way he acted. Not with those actions. Not the way he touched me.
I met a young person, and he wanted to be identified as a lampshade, and I said, "Okay."
Is that a lampshade?
So, it went by it, and if you had to say pronouns, you said lampshade.
He wasn't like a lamp. Just the shade.
Yeah, he said that the lamp.
Not very big dreams.
No,
he's just. I'd like to be a curtain, but only let me be a curtain rod. I just want to be a curtain rod.
I want to be supportive of the curtains
itself.
Yes, very useful.
Well,
I'm good to see that your throat is doing better, because I don't think you'd be talking all this much if your throat was all jiggly wiggly still.
I wouldn't describe it as jiggly wiggly. Yeah, I in the it's taken up until a couple days ago. I was still having some pain, but it's gotten better every day, and I just thank the Lord up above for saving my throat.
Hell yeah. Shortly after we did our last episode, I got I came down with this like weird head cold where I had like a fever for a couple of days, and then the fever went away, but you know how like you like the mucus and all that shit just lingers for like weeks, and I've just had like this weird cough for like the last, I don't know, like 2.5 weeks, and it's only just now finally fucking going away. It's been really weird.
It takes forever sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're paying attention to it like I was. I was like really like every 2 seconds, like what's going on with my throat? And so I just stick my fingers down there real hard sometimes.
And you
And
just wiggle your finger around.
yeah, just be
see
like,
if anything
oh, it's
felt
normal. Oh, it hurts. Oh,
okay. No white pustules. I guess I don't have the strip. That's good.
I guess I don't have the strip. Yeah, it's pretty
You
gross.
gotta look out for them white pustules.
It's no good.
Not good.
It's not good to have white pustules in the back of throat.
I would not recommend having pustules at all.
No, it's bad. So yeah, I can do this again. I can go.
Thank God you can do that again.
That's the only real thing I've been working on lately.
You gotta be careful. Don't make that noise too much. You're gonna have a bunch of fucking rabid women knocking on your door.
Oh, I know they are into
Scratching
it.
at
They
your
are
windows,
into
yeah.
it. Women are into it. That's really.
I
I just
that
go out my window and I go, "Ooh," and they go, "Oh, Joe's up and about. Let's go." Or they just, they just like
you.
they just look like deer.
Well, the
Or,
problem
like,
is
what's up?
that it only attracts like 62-year-old women that don't wear bras, so they just come running at you like this.
Yeah, it's because
and
they're
it's like
senile.
giant pendulums just swinging back and forth.
Yep, that's important. That's
important for
that's my new
momentum.
My new superhero move is attracting 60-year-olds with pendulous breastises, which is my name of my new band. The pendulous breastises. Yes. Yestises? Yeah, again, don't stifle a sneeze. I almost did the other day, and I had to
oh my God. What,
I had a PTSD about it while I was doing it. And then I almost did it. It was terrifying.
Were you going to do it again because you were in a place that you didn't feel it was appropriate to sneeze? Or
yeah, I was at work, and I still have that habit of like trying not to blow chunks all over the fucking products. My bad. I care about people too much.
Just blow the chunks, man.
Oh,
do you care about the people, or do you care about an aneurysm blowing in your brain because you held in the sneeze? These are the decisions you got to make, Joe.
I care about that. I care about being able to do that.
Whatever my life, whatever
my life amounts to as I get older, I want to be known for that. The guy who made weird throat singing sounds.
It sounds like the sound that you would hear in like a movie about some like ancient, either African or like Aztec tribe.
Yeah.
Like those dudes are gathered around the big bonfire. Yeah, and they're just making that weird noise as like a chant. And they're praying to some god, and then they like cut some little kid's throat and then drink his blood and throw his body in the fire.
Yes.
And then an asteroid comes.
Like that. That's like the devil.
Oh yeah. You know what that sounds like? You ever watch? Sounds like the villain from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Claw or Mr. Hand or whatever
his
name was.
Mr. Claw.
The Claw. You only have, but that was his voice. Gadget. I don't know, something like that.
Gadget. Yes.
There we go.
Gadget. Go get the little kitty.
That's how he laughed. He like really had a hard time with his line, so he did a lot of blooper reels. There's a lot of blooper reels.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
That actually kind of hurts my throat, weirdly enough, like doing that.
Oh yeah, if I do that one long enough, oh no,
I can't talk anymore. No, I
think you're doing all that recovery.
I know. I'm in recovery right now. I'm in the AAA program.
Oh,
yeah, it's the one where the car comes up and fixes your car, and then I'm like, "Hey, I fucking drink too much," and he's like, "I don't give a shit. I'm here to fix your car." And you're like, "What? My car's fine. What are you talking about? It's AAA, bitch." You know that thing.
Yeah,
I got it mixed up
with the AA.
I think that I've it feels like I have permanently altered my vocal cords that I have a slightly lower pitch than normal. Like just my
Oh,
normal speaking voice, and when I like try to sing a little bit, and it could just be that it's still healing, and I obviously don't let it heal very well because I do stupid shit with my voice. It feels like I have just a little bit lower register with my actuals. Like this is my normal speaking voice, and it feels a little bit like just I don't know if it is a little lower, but it just seems a little bit lower than normal.
I wonder if like when you held in that sneeze and it,
Mm,
it sort of ruptured. What it actually did was it was such a powerful moment for your body that
yeah,
it somehow triggered a
yeah,
second puberty for you.
yeah. It
You
did.
held it
Oh,
in, and
that
then like,
explains so
whoa, it like
much.
sent your body into shock, and
Oh,
now.
that explains so much because I have so many more pubes right now.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my
All right.
God.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, it's like
All right. All right. All
I can't
right.
even see dick and balls anymore. It's just
Oh,
pubes.
wow.
And it's not like they're
Jeez.
longer hairs, it's just more of them.
Oh my
Like
God. That's thick.
triple thickness.
You try
Like
to
when
like use a trimmer and it just burns out.
yeah, I broke like
Are they
weed
like
eaters.
are they thicker and like super wiry now? Like it's like copper wire down there, just fucking you
Yeah,
can't even cut
they're
through it.
all it's all just I mean it's essentially like it's not copper, it's more like
Okay.
it's like if you took it's like rusted wires.
Oh my
Is that
God.
better? Is that worse? I don't know. Um yeah, and
It's
it's all
less
just
sanitary, I'll tell you
it's
that
just
much.
matted together and I can't even if I try to wash it, it doesn't help.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
tough, dude.
But good news is I've
Okay.
got a slightly deeper voice and I
Exactly.
can attract 60-year-old women titties.
With pendulum breastises. Breastises, breasticide, breastiso. Breastises.
Breastises is obviously the right one there.
Breasticide. I think it's breasticide.
Breastises,
Yeah.
the appropriate term for multiple breasts. What if you have
Yeah,
three
breasticide.
breasts? Three breasts, trace breasts.
That's just a tri breast. Yeah.
Donde está la biblio trace breasts? You know.
El piso mojado. That's all I have to say
Oh,
about that.
piso mojado. What about Donde está mojito el grande?
Whoa, you want a large mojito?
Yeah,
Nice.
I want to drink it. Oh, it's 420.
Oh,
Smoke it if you got it,
whoa.
dog. Yaman, Rastafari, weed's legal.
Is that why
It's
didn't
less
you
intriguing.
you went through like that phase for a while? I remember it was like years ago where you stopped smoking. Have you tried doing that again since?
Stop smoking weed?
Yeah, I remember it was like
When did I do
stretch.
that?
It was like a stretch of time.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
think it was
remember
when you were
that.
still living in like Springfield, and you just had kind of stopped smoking. I think it was
Yeah,
like
I think
around
I
the time
took
you
like
were like,
3 or 4 months off or something like that.
yeah,
I
and you
think I
just
was, you know what I was doing is I was writing, I think that was when I was writing that short story collection. And I thought that if I stopped smoking weed, I would just be like uber productive. I thought that weed was making me less productive.
mhm,
And so I was like, you know, I'm going to be like, I thought it would be like limitless. Like I would stop smoking
mhm.
weed and then I would like invent some new fucking thing or write a fucking badass thing or I don't know, start a business. I don't know what I was thinking. And so I stopped for months and months and I kind of just did what I would do normally. I just would like I would go to work, I would like exercise, I would write, and then I would watch TV and relax and like go to bed and like a
Mhm.
normal person. And I realized that I for the most part did exactly what I did when I was smoking weed, but I was like, well, what does the weed actually like if I introduce it again, is it going to make what I'm doing worse or better or like why did I stop in the first place? And I just was like, well, I like smoking weed and so why don't I just try it again, and if it makes me feel like I'm being less productive, then that'll give me something to counter this with, but I realized that it's just something you can choose to do, and it didn't like seem to really alter me like fundamentally as a person. And being productive is kind of a choice, like whether you're high or not. Obviously there's certain things that you can do differently when you're high, or that being high kind of makes it a little harder to focus on certain things. But like I can write when I'm high, and I can play music when I'm high, and I can but I can't really read when I'm high. Like I can't read a story and keep track of what's going on, but I can watch TV and I can play video games.
I think that's the two main activities people usually do when they're high, other than eating, is watching TV or playing video games.
If I'm already going to do those things, it's not like I'm being productive. I don't need to be more productive while I'm watching TV or trying to relax. Like not all of life is, for me, is about being super productive all the time. I enjoy not doing anything sometimes.
Yeah, I have to force myself to not worry about that sometimes, because I am the kind of person where it's like if I don't get at least a few things done in a day, I feel like I failed, So sometimes you just got to learn to let that shit go a little bit, but don't let it go too far. You still got to get shit done. You don't want to just become a total lazy piece of garbage.
Yeah,
or maybe you do. I don't know. It's your life, man. If that's what you want to be. If you just want to work, eat McDonald's, and play Elden Ring every day of your life,
that sounds awesome.
Then
except for the McDonald's part.
I mean,
that would just give me diarrhea constantly.
Oh, okay. And you can't really pause Elden Ring, so that's not a good scenario.
No, I guess you can sit on the toilet while you play, but it's a little distracting, probably. But McDonald's every once in a while is pretty fun.
I fucking hate McDonald's. The chicken nuggets are the only thing that are like okay, but other than that, meh.
I like a good Big Mac. I like a quarter pounder with cheese.
There's just so many other fast food restaurants that you could go to. It's like,
what's your go-to fast food?
Oh, Taco Bell.
Yeah. Well, that's.
But if I want burgers, honestly, I prefer Burger King because I like the flame broiled patties over the fried.
I just don't have a Burger King super close. And actually the one that is somewhat nearby is in the ghetto, and they have these kids working there that are just don't give a fuck. And it is terrible. But I've had a good Burger King.
Yeah. Well, what I like about Burger King burgers too is they also do like the lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion. Whereas like a lot of McDonald's burgers are usually just like ketchup, mustard, and those little shredded onion pieces and some.
Yeah, those little shredded onion pieces are the shit.
I'm just saying though, they don't have.
You got a problem with the little shredded onion pieces?
Not at all, man. Not at all. I did when I was a kid because I didn't like onions, and those are hard to pick off. You basically have to just like shave it all off with a knife.
Mommy, there's little tiny onion pieces on my burger, Mommy.
Ruining my burger, Mommy.
Oh, Mommy, why have we gone to McDonald's when you knew I like Burger King better?
They have the big sliced onions, and I can pick them off.
Mommy, why don't you just ask them to not put them on in the first place?
No, Mommy, stop hitting me. I'm sorry, Mommy.
Oh, Mommy.
I won't make any requests again.
Yes, whatever
I'll
works
just be grateful for what I get.
Yes, I'm happy for the Burger King, Mommy. I'm happy for the McDonald's, too. Mommy, can we try Taco Bell next time? Ow!
No, Mommy, don't hit me again.
Ow, Mommy. I think Taco Bell is probably my favorite, but it's so good that I have to be very careful. It's like heroin. If I go once, I'm gonna want to go again the next day and maybe for dinner. In fact, right this second that we're saying it, I'm starting to think about going to get Taco Bell. It's been a while. It's been long enough.
It happened.
And I can regulate my addiction personally. I don't need an intervention yet, but
I started like a new diet regimen recently, so I mean that kind of shits us off the table for me.
I went to an In-N-Out because I've been working in Kaiser. I have my training. I got a new job that just started probably right around the last episode.
Yeah, I think you had just started or about to start.
I was like about to or something. But so they have stuff that's not near me, and there's an In-N-Out, and it was pretty good.
But
In-N-Out's good, but it's like not the be all end all that some people
No.
make it out to be.
It
Some people
reminds me of like
really
an
go nuts about
old-fashioned
it.
burger. I think people just
Isn't it
need to
really
have
cheap?
it's inexpensive. They only have like 3 things on the menu. They have like
Yeah.
a burger, a cheeseburger, and a double burger. 1 thing of fries options, but then they have like really good shakes and then like soda. But it's really cool because they all wear dumb old-fashioned outfits. And it is old-fashioned. Like it reminds me of like those old-fashioned like burger like I used to have a friend in Elkton, and there was a it was like a food truck, but before food trucks existed, so it was really just like a little building, but you didn't go inside of it. You would just order from the window and then sit outside and eat. And they used to make these, homemade burgers, and they were super fucking good. And it kind of reminded me of that, of just kind of like just old-fashioned burgers. But it wasn't fucking special at all. I don't think you can get special sandwiches. Like I don't burgers are like burgers for the most part to me, unless you go to like a fancy restaurant and they really work at it. But I think it's a little different for like chicken burgers, because you have to spice up chicken burgers in some ways. So like you have Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, which I think is like one of the best chicken sandwiches you can get anywhere. And so I think like Wendy's for me is one of the better fast food places. Plus you can switch out the you don't have to get fries. You can get other stuff instead of fries at Wendy's. And their chicken nuggets are really good as well at Wendy's, and the Frosties.
I can't even think the last time I ate at a Wendy's. I don't think there's any Wendy's really around here anymore. I know there was one that closed. I don't know if there's another one.
That's the thing, is if it's not by you, you don't end up getting it. So it doesn't matter. The old fast food breakdown.
I'm getting hungry now. We're like, I say we're talking about all
it's
this food,
4:20. We're talking about weed. We're talking about hanging people.
Gallows,
we're talking about fast food. Yeah, I don't know. What else has been going on? We're gonna have to take a break here in about 7 minutes.
Oh, so the countdown already started, huh? It's already been that long. Jesus Christ. I feel like we haven't really talked about any. I mean, we talked about stuff, but like talked about anything.
Really important shit, dude.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, we could probably find something in the news to talk about, but it's all just depressing,
Yeah.
President has COVID.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He's old, so good luck with that.
I know. I was like, maybe that'll do him in, the old COVID that nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. It's still definitely something people talk about, but it's like
I think people are just
seem to be such a big deal.
I think people are just tired of it. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They just want to shield their eyes and just keep going.
I guess, yeah. Well, I think they shield their mouths typically, with their.
I mean, they maybe, but.
I mean, I saw
they only shield their mouths. Not
I saw
nose.
2 dudes when I was driving home the other day. I saw 2 dudes, 2 like 40, 50-year-old dudes in a car, and they were both wearing one of those like non-surgical masks in the car. And I'm like, you guys realize that, like, I don't know who you are, like, unless this is an Uber type situation, if you guys are friends and you're in the car, that thing's probably not really helping you very much, because it's not fully containing everything and you're touching everything in the car. And if you hang out all the time, like, you're going to infect each other at some point. I don't know. I just think wearing it in the car, especially by yourself, is really weird. But then if you're like with somebody who you're with a lot, I don't think you're going to eventually commingle some stuff. Is that weird?
I wonder how many people are genuinely worried about getting the disease, and then how many people are just doing it because they feel altruistic. They're like, look at me, I'm still wearing a mask because I care.
Yeah,
I care about everybody around me.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is virtue signaling for sure, and a lack of general understanding of how anything works.
Well, if you're wearing a mask and nobody else around you is wearing a mask, at least in terms of COVID, then you can still get sick because the whole point of wearing masks during COVID was to protect other people from you. Because like the whole idea was that the mask was keeping your shit contained, but they were saying that you could still get it from other people.
I don't
And
understand
so,
that. I don't understand how
yeah,
that logic works. I think some people just say that, but like a
I just
mask,
remember that was like the
those
thing when they were
masks are
like,
not designed as one-way valves. They're designed as filtration, like as cloth, fucking filters. And if it can stop my spittle going out, then why doesn't it stop spittle going in? Other than the fact that it
I don't
doesn't
know.
create a seal like an N95. So it's not stopping 100% of anything. It's also not medical grade or anything like that. So, microscopic things get through it regardless, especially if you sneeze or something. So I, I, well, it probably reduces certain, you know, particles from going in or out. I don't see how it's not stopping stuff going in. You know what I mean? Like the whole, it's only I'm protecting you. Are you protecting me? Am I protecting you? Or are we all just delusional in our inability to understand microscopic organisms?
Well, I think that they help to a certain extent, but yeah,
No,
not
I'm
100%.
yeah,
But
of course. It's on a spectrum. I'm just not sure that it doesn't do the same thing in as out. I don't know why they would do something different. Like if there's particles in the air and they come at my face and they hit the mask, it's doing the same thing as the particles from my mouth going that way. What's
yeah,
different about
no, that's
that
why I never understood it.
transaction?
I just remember them saying that at the hospital. They were like, "This is why everybody needs to mask up
But isn't that
because
just like a way to make people feel guilty and virtue signal and do
yeah,
that? As opposed to
they
just
just don't
saying,
really."
hey, this has a completely untested and unresearched uh, uh, likelihood of reducing a certain amount of particles getting into the air and affecting people.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just seems
I
like,
think that's why we just need to hope that it doesn't get crazy bad again, and then everybody's
yeah, have to put on their masks
back
again.
to mask mandates and stuff. Like Lane County right now, they're like
Yeah.
recommending everybody wear masks when they're indoors, but they're like it's not like a mandate. They just
Yeah.
are strongly advocating that people do that. So
Yeah, my work for 3 whole days told us to wear masks. They didn't make customers wear them, but the employees had to wear them for 3 days and then they turned it off. So if it's really an issue and those really help, then why aren't we wearing them? Like, who's
I think
actually
that
making
maybe
these
people were
decisions?
probably complaining about it or something, and they're like, "Fuck
I
it,
think
let's not even
employees were
worry about
pissed
it."
and they were like, it's not going to help if the customers aren't wearing them. So what are you doing? You're just making
Yeah,
us wear them and feel bad.
we still have to like have everybody mask up where I work, and it sucks, man. Like we have to wear the medical grade N95 ones,
Yeah,
like
they're
the
not
whole time
comfortable.
that we're at
Yeah.
work. Um,
But you weren't doing that
yeah.
before, right? 3 years ago, you weren't wearing a mask.
No, so we well, no, I mean we've been wearing masks since the fucking thing started, basically.
I know, but I'm saying before COVID, you didn't wear a mask at your job.
Oh no.
Right. So
No,
I'm just
no,
saying, like, before COVID, there were germs and flus and diseases and microscopic organisms, and nobody gave a fuck. Right.
well,
Am I
that's because
tripping?
there wasn't a no. I mean, you're totally right. There just wasn't an active pandemic going on at the time.
No,
It
I
was just like,
understand. I understand. But now that we've gotten to the point where, like, the odds of dying are much lower, and almost everybody's gotten it, or they've got boosters. Like, we're at a point that it's like somewhat stabilized.
Mhm.
At least it's going to get better as long as we keep doing what we're doing. I just don't see why the masks are still necessary. Like, at what point are they not? And I don't know if
Oh
anybody
yeah,
can
I
answer
don't
that.
know. We'll
Yeah.
probably be fucking wearing them for the rest of my life that I'm working there. I feel like
Yeah.
because
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like we've
they
gone to some new reality. It's gonna cut off here.
oh
let's start a new one. We'll take a break and then we'll be right recording. All right. Anyway.
Oh wow, it's like we were never gone.
Yeah.
You're gonna splice it together and make it all magical.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it together. Stupid Zoom. I'm not paying for you, fucking bitch.
Well, actually, what's funny is right now, our mask stuff at work is more strict than it was like during like the height of the pandemic. Because during that time, we just had to wear level 3 surgical masks, and then the moment that the Omicron thing kicked up, that was when they wanted us to start wearing the N95 ones because those are even more like protective. And then we just have never stopped wearing them. Because like there was one moment where they were going to ease off and let us go back to just the normal level 3 surgical masks, but then Lane County had an uptick in cases, and so then they were like, "Never mind, you just have to keep the N95s on." So
yeah, I just don't know.
There's just like no end in sight really for it.
It's
at
like
least where I work.
They're like blaming everybody, but like, why did the cases go up? Who's actually like, what's the problem with that? Like, are people still dying in the same way that they were? Like, there's this whole thing like, oh, the cases have gone up. Why? So the fuck what? Why? Please, can I get more information before like you just tell me what to do? Like, I understand like people have died and people are probably still dying, but am I involved in that situation at all? Like, is it because of my store? Is it because of your work? Is it like, has anyone, like, I just don't know why it's like everyone now has to just keep going in this fluctuative, paranoia fucking.
I know. I think we
always have to pay attention to the hospitals. I don't, this is not my fucking job. Like, it's not my job to protect all these fucking people with my saliva. And there's the whole thing about immunity and the fact that like, at some point everyone already got, like, everybody's gotten it anyway. Like, I didn't get it, but almost everybody I've known has gotten it and they're all fucking fine. And you know, for some people it's really bad for sure. Like, I've talked to people who had it and it was like, they're like, it sucks. And I've had other people who had it and they're like, it was literally nothing. And so that's life. That's the way it fucking goes.
So, I mean, we're at the point now, it's like, can we just rip the Band-Aid off and just whatever happens will happen now? I mean,
I don't know.
We dealt with it as best we could for a couple of years now. Can we just please move on?
Well, I mean, we dealt with it in a particular way that's going to have, you know, all these long-term consequences that we're still dealing with, and the you know, unemployment and the fucking, you know, debt and loss of business and the fucking Great Resignation. Like, there's tons of things to learn from it, but the whole like, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear this kind of mask, don't wear that kind of mask, get immunity, get a booster, get a thing, but it's not going to last and it doesn't really work. It's like, shut the fuck up, y'all. Y'all don't know. Y'all are fucking dumb. And it's not increasing my level of trust. It's not creating a lot of trust between me and these fucking geniuses. But it needs time. It needs time and whatever.
The newer strains too, like, don't even show up on a lot of the COVID tests, and the vaccines aren't really that effective against it. It's like the BA.5 fucking variant. So it's like we're at a point now where like all the stuff we did is kind of for nothing, because now that it just mutated into something else now that
but doesn't the flu literally do the same thing every year? It fucking does. What are we fucking doing? It's so silly. I don't understand.
We just need to let the planet kill some of us off. That's what it's trying to do.
But it's,
the planet's like, there's too many of you fuckers. I'm trying to kill you guys, and you just keep fucking with me.
It's not that you let the planet kill people. It's, we're gonna die. We're all dealing with the universe and the fucking world. We're not gonna stop people from fucking dying. Obviously, science is like that's the whole point. So do it. Do your fucking science. Leave me the fuck alone until you figure it the fuck out. There's a difference between good science and the government forcing people to do stuff based on not good science. And science takes time. And it's like, just give me information, fuck faces. That's what we want. That's what I want, is information, and I'll make decisions because we're supposed to be free. But
Are we ever really?
No, of course not. This is fucking
I love when
delusion.
people say that. It's like none of us are
Fucking
really free.
delusion about.
Try not paying your
freedom.
taxes for like 1 year and tell me how free you are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but we are way more free, and the consequence of our awesome freedom is a massively fluctuating, set of risks and rewards, as opposed to a more stable fucking totalitarian regime that ends up crashing on itself and destroying lots of lives. So we get a little more chaos day to day, and as opposed to a complete shutdown of the way things work with a totalitarian regime that fails. Ours fails a little bit all the time. Theirs stays stable and then fails real big with a revolution or a war or a fucking, a massacre.
There's a lot of that happening too. Did you see that? Like the Prime Minister of the UK, fucking Boris Johnson, like resigned.
No,
fucking Sri Lanka's Prime Minister or president or whatever the fuck title, they got like overthrown. Like it's crazy. There's been like all kinds of shit happening all over the world, like over the last month, of just like whole social structures being completely shaken by these different events that are happening.
Yeah, I would imagine England isn't going to be too fucked up by one person quitting.
No, they just got to find somebody to,
because they're more like
it's just crazy to see. It's just crazy when you see somebody like, I mean, that's like if the president of the United States was just like, I'm going to resign. It's like you really have
everyone to be happy
to be in a point. Yeah. Where, well, I don't think anybody would be happy, because then you would have Kamala Harris. And so
they'd be happy because they'd be unhappy.
Yeah.
What would we do with somebody who was like good? We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. You can't be happy with the government.
No.
Not important. I don't know anything about Kamala, and I know I'm just not very up on politics. I think it's all just fucking stupid. It's just
it's like a bunch of stuff to worry about that you have no control over. Because like Vanessa works in government, so that's why I hear about as much as I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have to tell her sometimes, like, you just gotta let it go, man. There's nothing you can do about whatever is going on that's got you upset. Like, yeah, they overturned Roe vs. Wade. It fucking sucks. Shouldn't have happened. But I mean, unless you're just gonna go protest, I guess, every day somewhere and try to get them to change their mind, like nothing's gonna really happen.
I watched some stuff on Roe versus Wade. I think I watched Legal Eagle like go through the arguments about it, how it's essentially they just put it to the states to determine whether it's legal or how to determine what's legal, and it typically just has to do with differences in what constitutes a legal abortion, like as far as the biology, and then also how long into the birth or into the gestation that you can abort, which is how it would work no matter what. But it is a state thing now, so I think it's not that like you can't get an abortion. It's just that in your state there's going to be different rules than in the next state, and most states have stipulations for abortions for lots of typical cases, like the unviability of the baby and rape and incest and stuff. It's just those kind of like abortions just for the sake of abortions that are harder to get now, as well as late term abortions. So I think the idea was the I don't know, I guess exaggerated negativity toward it was somewhat warranted, but it was also like not completely, like they didn't make abortion illegal.
I think the biggest thing about it is that it's just taking rights away from somebody. It's just anytime that the government passes something and telling you that you're no longer allowed to do something or stripped it down to a point where it's like way more restricted, I think it's just obviously going to upset a huge group of people.
Well, and it's been in place for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, if they passed a weapon ban on AR-15s, how that's like the main weapon used in every mass shooting is an AR-15, and if the government finally was just like, fuck it, they're illegal. Nobody can have AR-15s anymore. You'd have a whole slew of dudes up in in an uproar about it. It's like it's interesting how like it's like abortion and gun rights are like the
Yeah,
two
they're really
fucking
big right
things right
now.
now. They're huge.
I listened to a podcast that Sam Harris had with a reporter who studies a lot of this stuff, and they were talking about gun violence and mostly about the Uvalde shooting, which has a lot of other issues related to
Oh yeah, dude, the
school
police
shootings.
response generally,
Yeah, of course. That's a huge fucking crazy situation. But I keep coming back to the idea of I just I don't know. I think the more I listen to people and the more I think about it, the more I realize that gun control is, I don't know. It's a very it's just a very difficult problem, and I think that because it's in the Constitution, unless they change that, they're just not going to be successful.
Well, the Constitution thing is interesting too, right? Because the whole
Yeah.
framing of the Second Amendment is that it's to be a well-armed militia, right? Like I think the intention of the Second Amendment was, hey, if England tries to invade again, we all have the right to form a militia and have our weapons to fight back. But now, like in our current day, it's sort of morphed into everybody has the right to bear arms. Like everybody seems to ignore the fact that it was clearly based around the idea of everybody having the ability to form a militia in the event of like a foreign power or something coming, so we could defend ourselves. So everybody,
the government being tyrannical,
yeah,
like in the Civil War.
Yeah, so it's like
sure, but
I don't think it was really meant to be like, hey, everybody just have a gun, for fun. Or
I think that's the problem with trying to interpret the Constitution, is that we look at it under a particular lens and with particular things in mind. And back then, everybody had a gun, so it wasn't like they weren't thinking like, well, this isn't about everybody having a gun or not. They assumed people had guns. What they didn't want was the government saying you can't have a gun, because then where's your gun in the event that something happens? Like we can't have like a situation where we don't have guns, but then you go to this little like shack that the government regulates, and then you go get your guns in the event of a need, because that's not how that works. You need it when you need it.
I wish that I really think it comes down to the fact that we should be updating that document more frequently. Like it was written basically almost 300 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at how different our society is now. Like technology and all these things have advanced so much. It's like, why are we bending to the will of this document that doesn't, I mean, it's been
because
updated,
it has like some really important, like,
I just mean like there's
like
things
the First Amendment. Like if we can fuck with the Second Amendment, then we can fuck with the First Amendment. But most people don't want to do that. But if you start to fuck with the Second Amendment or the Fifth Amendment or the Fourth Amendment, then why not fuck with all of it? And then we become a tyranny, or we get all these crazy rights. So I think it's actually important to be wary of taking away the amendments. I also think that because it's in the amendment, the gun thing, and because of the way that we use it and the way that we have guns, that it's just a price of freedom that people have guns. I think that people should own guns, and people should be able to protect themselves from other people with guns. And if China comes over and we have guns, it's going to be really difficult for them. And part of the price that you pay to have that in place is somebody can get a gun and take it somewhere and shoot people. And I think it's also one of the other things about gun violence that people don't talk about and never talk about, and is really an issue, is handguns and gang violence, which is the vast majority of actual deaths. And I don't think people care about it. I don't think people actually care about deaths. I think they care. I don't think they actually care about guns. I think they just care about kids.
The gang violence thing is because, like, so typically, right, in the gang violence situation, typically, not every time, obviously, is that I think people don't care because those are groups of people who've chose to live a particular kind of life. Like, if you're gonna get involved in a gang, chances are you're gonna end up in a violent situation. So I think that's why generally people just don't care. They're like, whatever, those people have decided that they're going to live that way, and they're killing themselves, or they're killing each other most of the time. Whereas, like, these mass shootings are happening in like peaceful public places or schools or wherever, where people are innocent of, choosing to live a violent life. And I think that's the main thing that why people don't give a fuck about gun violence in terms of gang violence.
But that's why they can't say it's about gun control, and they can't say it's about gun violence. They're not talking about gun control and gun violence. They're talking about protecting innocent people. By talking about it as if they're talking about gun control, then talk about guns, talk about the actual gun violence that occurs and all the guns that are involved. And most violent interactions are not done with rifles. Most violent interactions are done with pistols. And they just want to get rid of AR-15s because they think that'll be some win. Like, people don't shoot each other with everything else. I think it's just disingenuous. I think it's just some people don't want anyone to have guns, and some people want people to have guns. And the Constitution says we can have guns. That's the way we've interpreted it. And there's millions and millions of guns, and people aren't going to get rid of their guns. So we have to come up with other ways to protect children if we care about them.
Yeah.
You're just not going to do it. Like, we can pretend like it's a gun problem, but like, we've had guns in America forever, and we've had kids have been able to, like, you can get pistols way easier than you can get rifles. You can kill tons of people with pistols and other guns and other weapons and other things and bombs and shit. But the real issue is, why are kids going around trying to kill other kids? Why are adults going around trying to kill other adults? Who's there to stop them when it happens? Like, what are the actual odds of getting into those issues? And then there's the other issue of, like, this is just the thing of the day that people want to get in an uproar about, but we're not trying to get rid of cars, and people die from, drunk issues all the time. We're not suing Ford when somebody drives drunk.
So the thing about the car, and this is actually part of an Obama speech that was all about guns, and stuff before, is he talked about how he brought that exact argument up that you just brought, like, oh, we should ban cars because of car accidents. But then he talked about how we've been able to remedy a lot of car fatalities through research and safety.
Technology.
Like, they researched why people were dying in cars. Oh, we got to get seatbelts. We had airbags. We had, all these designs that we put into place for a vehicle.
I'm talking about drunk people. The analogy I would make is drunk people and cars. Because other car accidents are not the same as using a gun.
But what he was saying in his speech was that they don't have the opportunity to research guns in the same way, because, like, the NRA and stuff stops them, because they're like, no, like, we don't want to be involved.
People aren't dying because guns
are
manufactured improperly. They're not dying they're dying because they're being used how they're supposed to be used. They're tools for biological destruction, and that goes all sorts of different ways. But I just think how many people
just can't handle guns. Like, people genuinely, as afraid of them. People can't handle them.
Yeah,
people just don't. I think it's like one of those creations that we've made that we just don't like. It's too much for us as a species. Like, and that's why we have all the problems with. Like,
it's just too late. Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
It's just gonna happen. I would say the same thing with. I would say the same thing about social media. That's why. It's like we created something that we were not prepared for as a species. Like, we don't know how to really navigate it that well.
What I also think is that we fantasize about a world where no one gets hurt and no technology, where technology is for the good of humanity only, and things like guns, which completely radically change the course of history and the way humans interact with each other, both good and bad. It's the same with social media. We have to strive to make them better and to solve problems that we see. I think we just sometimes see problems that aren't really there. And sometimes we see one thing as the problem, but it's actually just easier to see that. Like, it's easy to see social media as the problem in general, but it's hard to see what the real underlying like causes of issues are with social media, which is why studies and research and science is really important. And I think trying to figure out why people are engaging in mass, in these, they're somewhat one-off. Like this guy just decides he hates everyone and he goes and shoots people. I think that's a very interesting problem. I think that's the problem. The problem is people going around shooting innocent people because they are psychos and hateful or whatever is wrong with them. Like, that's interesting.
That is definitely the problem. I mean, the gun on its own,
and the gun helps make that possible in a way that it would be different for them to do in other ways. But we don't really know what kind of like obviously serial killers have been killing people since humans has existed, and they got away with it because we didn't have video cameras and fucking eyewitnesses and stuff. So the idea that psychoticism and violence is like this new problem is not accurate either. And the idea that like we get to have it both ways. We don't get to have the freedom that we want and no one ever gets shot by a gun who doesn't deserve it. It's just not going to happen. And it obviously, like, based on current situations. So it's just interesting.
I think really what it boils down to is there's a whole bunch of people who just don't want any guns around at all. And then there's other people who really like having their guns. Me, I would fall in the camp of like, fuck it. Fuck it.
You have no reason to have guns. It's really interesting.
I just don't care at all. Like if they were like, okay, we're gonna put a bill out and everybody's gonna vote. You're either gonna vote, we're gonna keep things the way they are, or we're gonna get rid of all the guns. And I would just vote to get rid of all the guns.
Yeah,
fuck it, because that's what other countries have done, and it alleviated this problem. New Zealand.
Yeah.
Japan, where it's like they just got rid of the guns, which sucks. It's a right that's taken away from people. But
I think we're in a unique situation because of the amount of guns and the amount of unknown guns. So you would definitely get rid of tons and tons of guns with this with a buyback or a mandatory thing or something. But what you wouldn't get rid of is all the bad guys with guns. So you would just
have like these new ghost guns that are like these 3D printed firearm.
And records don't go back that far with serial numbers anyway. So like if you had a gun, like if there's guns around from 10, 20 years ago, nobody knows they exist. So like all these gangsters, none of these gangsters are going to be like, oh, I need to get rid of my gun. They're never getting rid of their guns. So what's going to happen is they're going to be able to rob anybody they want because no one will have a gun. And so you're back to the point of like, well, I need my gun for defense because now we have people with guns and without guns. So
you have to do it as a genie wish, bro. You have to be like, hey, Mr. Genie.
See, that's the only way to do it is to live
blink
in a
all
fantasy.
Of the guns out of
and then you have situations like other countries where they have guns for the purpose of national defense, and many people have like AR-15s and AK-47s in their house and they train with them, and it's important. On that podcast they were talking about Israel. Everyone has a gun because they're literally at war all the time, and in Finland, where they're not at war but part of their national defense is potential militia, like anybody who's a male over a certain age has a gun, and they're like taught to use that as a form of defense. But these countries are tiny. They're just not the same. America is unique. It has unique problems. And so
there's some countries too. There was one I was just reading about. I can't remember which one it was, where you're allowed to have a gun, but in order to have a gun, you have to like pass all these classes. You have to get licensed. Like there's like a whole, you can't just go into a store at 18 and purchase a gun. Like you actually have to go through a whole bunch of like safety training and all these classes and stuff in order to be. And I was like, why don't we implement something like that? It's like everybody gets to have their guns. If you really want your gun that bad, you'll go through the classes and get your license and all this stuff.
The concealed permit case is more like that. You have to take a class and you have to get a background check. And but the problem is that a psycho, you're not going to find out until they do something bad. They're going to be able to pass. They're going to be able to pass a class easy. They're going to be able to pass a questionnaire easy. They're going to be able to pass.
That's why you'd have to like probably make it actually like a class you have to put effort in. Like, oh, you got to attend this class for like 3 months, like a few times a week.
But then you just have a guy who's really good at shooting. Like,
well, I mean,
what we have is like, why do they want to shoot people? Like, if it's always about defense, then we'd be fine. Like there's genuine reasons why like you don't want somebody to get in your house, use a gun against you. So I have a gun because a cop won't be there fast enough. And that happens all the time. Like there are tons and tons of cases, and you can watch them on YouTube, of people literally using guns to defend themselves. And that is the only option that they would have had. Otherwise they would have been robbed and killed or whatever, raped. I don't know. It also allows women and smaller people to defend themselves against bigger people, because a gun is pretty devastating. But so personally, because I'm the opposite, I like guns. I've been shooting my whole life. I think that, and I still have a major like I respect their deadliness a lot. I'm paranoid about being loaded, about checking where you're pointing it. Like when I go shooting, I think about accidentally shooting someone the whole time, and that's what helps me not shoot somebody on accident. Because accidental discharge is literally one of the worst things I can think about doing as a person who's been shooting guns for, you know, since I'm, I don't know, 10 or something like that. So what is that? 28 years I've been involved with guns. And so I just have this totally different perception of guns as a general kind of thing. Like it's not much different than having a bicycle to me, other than the, you know, potential actually it's kind of scary riding a bike. So there's just some similarities. Like riding a bike around town here, I don't even want to do that. That's scarier to me than going around shooting guns. But
riding a bike through Portland.
Yeah, fuck all that. But I also really like feel the idea, like I like freedom. I like the idea. And I also think that like I think freedom might be more important than restrictions. I think there's like, if you have a kid and they go to school and you're worried about school shootings, then it's your job to protect your kid. It's your job to prepare your kid. It's your job to deal with legislation that helps schools do a better job of protecting kids, if that's your issue. Same with like when I go to a movie theater, or I go to the park, or I go to a store, it's my job to defend myself if somebody ends up shooting up the place. Saying no one gets to have guns, I don't think would be my solution to those problems. I think I'd rather we lived in a more free, more individualized nation than a more regulated, government-controlled nation. And the consequence of that is maybe I'll get shot by a fucking person on the street. But the odds are just so low. That's why it's like, it isn't this big, massive epidemic problem. It is a unique problem to America, for sure. And mental health is a whole fucking issue in America that I think is the bigger issue, the one that we really should be working on. And you work in all the time. I think the like lack of purpose, the lack of like the easiness of life, like there's just a lot going on in our culture that allows people to kind of just sit around alone, and men have, you know, these younger men have like nothing going for them. They don't know what to do. They, you know what I mean? They're depressed. Maybe they were abused, maybe they weren't, and they have access to guns. So you're bound to have some shitty issues. I also what they were talking about on the Sam Harris podcast was like schools where it's really easy to get away if somebody decides to shoot up the school, as opposed to staying there and barricading yourself behind a door. Like, just run the fuck away. Like, if somebody's shooting at someone else in a mall, you don't barricade yourself in a store unless you have to. You get the fuck out of the mall. You run away. And that's your best bet if there's a shooter somewhere, is you run away and hopefully someone stops them as soon as possible. possible. And I think that's just a really pragmatic way to look at this type of scenario. But it's also like, what do you do if a semi truck is barreling down the road at you? You do whatever you're going to do. It's not up to everyone to fucking overanalyze the situation and act like there's this, and there is kind of an epidemic of people dying from drunk drivers. So I think it's kind of like, we have this tool and it has a potentially destructive purpose, but I don't want to get rid of it personally. I want to have that potential power, and but I don't think we all agree on like what constitutes moral decision making, or what constitutes defense, and what constitutes you know, a good like purpose in life. And so there's just a lot going on. And I think it comes down to like, do you want the government to try to solve it, or do you want the people to try to solve it? And I'm more libertarian about it. I just don't think the government's going to solve the problem necessarily. And I don't know if I'm required to constantly be worried about other people in other states and other cities and other problems. But that's a callous way to look at life.
Yeah.
You know? And people don't like
that's a tough thing, and it'll never be resolved. I don't think it's going to be an issue that just plagues our country until it no longer exists. I think because no matter what, it requires drastic action, right? It's like either you just have to take guns away from everybody, or we literally have to give guns to everybody. Just like fuck, like you got to start training little Timmy. He's got to go into elementary school with his little handgun, or you got to have like police officers stationed at every school, you know, and metal detectors. Like the schools are going to become like prisons, where it's like,
I know
going through a metal detector, we got to pat you down, we got to have all this armed security.
But isn't that part of the problem with education as this mass industrial system where kids have to go to this building? There's a whole lot of like creative solutions that like don't involve completely like just doing this. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very, it just seems silly. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it's like you get burned by the stove and you're like, I'm going to make my life about getting rid of stoves. And you're just not looking at the fucking problem. Like things are fucking, they're complicated, but they're also like kind of simple if you just have this, if you believe the way I do. Like things are simple in my head, and they're just not simple when we get together and we do things as groups. It's very interesting. I think we look at other countries and we go, well, they don't have mass shootings and they don't have guns, so those must be correlated. And obviously there's some correlation there, but there's other stuff to look at. There's lots and lots of things to think about when it comes to gun violence. And again, we don't give a shit about like all these kids just dying from handguns. Yeah.
Well, those other countries that don't have gun violence also have way better healthcare systems. So
maybe they're getting like mental health help.
That's what I mean. They
just don't know how that works.
They have way better behavioral health programs in other countries than America, because America turned the medical and health industry into a business, whereas it's like a right in Canada and New Zealand and these other places where it's like everybody just pays higher taxes, but then everybody's got access to healthcare. And so it is.
Are there psychos? Are the psychos in other countries just less violent because they have someone to talk to? I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's really what's happening.
I just mean there's better access to healthcare along with accompanying the fact that they also don't have the guns. So it's like, it's not like they just took all the guns away, suddenly everything was cool. It's like, well, they took the guns away, so people don't have tools for mass destruction.
Who knows?
And they also have healthcare access.
What's their unemployment look like? What's their religious homogeneity? Like if we all are the same religion and we all get along and we all have the same goals, it's a lot easier to like be happy and look at everyone as a friend.
Well,
but when we all are different, then everyone is like, that's the other, that's the other, that's the other. I hate everybody. Fuck everybody.
Well, that's the inherent strength and weakness of America, right? Is that
diversity.
We're a boiling pot.
Yeah.
Is like
I don't
we
think you
pride
get to
ourselves
have
on our
both.
diversity. I don't think so either, which is
You don't get to have
I don't
ultra
think,
diversity and everyone gets along. It doesn't work
yeah,
that way because that's
because some
diversity of
cultures are
thought.
literally and some people's diversity of thought and cultures are literally a direct opposite of somebody else's.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to be friends with somebody whose beliefs fly in it's hard for a woman, like a lot of women, to be friends with somebody from the South who doesn't believe in abortion, who believes that women should, be raising children, and that's what they're, you know what I mean? Like those are two completely different thought processes. It's very difficult for those two types of people to get along.
So we have a constant battle of virtues, and until we all get on the same page on something, it's very difficult. Or it's great. Like, does anybody think about that? Or it could be the best.
Great, right?
Or America could be literally the best place to live. And these little blips of imperfection are the outcropping little side effects of an experiment in freedom and diversity. Like maybe that's what's going on. And obviously, I mean, that is what's going on, roughly speaking. And I'm not saying America's the greatest. I'm just saying, like, we always want to denigrate this system, but it could be that this system is leading toward a Star Trekian fucking utopia. We don't fucking know. And I don't believe that because I don't like Star Trek utopias, but it's just like, I don't know. It's complicated, I guess. We're going to need to take another break here, but I'm down to keep going a little bit and do something more positive, I guess.
Well, we got to do our recommendations still.
Yeah. So let's
get off soon, just because Reese is literally sitting next to me whining because he's like, "Where's my dinner, bitch?"
Yeah, where's my dinner? It's getting hot.
I can go for a little bit longer though.
Just a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, we'll do that. Take
just a break. To wrap it up. Okay. All right.
Wrap it up. Recording in progress. I have to do these little cues to remind myself where to connect the fucking the audio files. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about something fucking else for a moment.
I'm gonna jump into my recommendation.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's a more fun thing. So we went to the theater last night and watched the new Jordan Peele flick, Nope. And I totally recommend people check it out. It's really good. It's interesting because have you watched any trailers for the movie?
Of course, yeah.
So the trailers make it, it gives it a certain vibe in the trailers that is not really the vibe of the movie. It's really interesting. Like everything that's in the trailer is in the movie. It's not misleading, but like it's all out of context, so you don't really understand the context of what all.
There's no context, makes no sense.
Trailer. So when you're watching the movie, I don't know, it's really good. If you liked his other stuff, did you like Get Out and
I never watched that.
Did you watch those?
What was the other one
of them?
What was the other one?
Well, Get Out was his first movie, and then the other one was called Us.
I haven't seen either of those movies.
Oh my god, you need to watch all of them. They're so good.
They seem dramatic and somewhat scary, and that's not my favorite thing.
No, Get Out's not too scary. It's really good. It's more of like a social commentary.
Yep.
On race relations, basically. And then Us is much more of like a horror movie, almost kind of like a slasher. But again, it also has like a social commentary piece to it. Nope is not scary really at all. I don't think there was like a couple of parts that are kind of creepy. It's just a fascinating movie. I mean, it's literally about an alien invasion of sorts. But it's very unique. It's a very unique take on that type of film. So people should watch it. There's a little humor in there too. That's what's nice about the Jordan Peele films is each of them has like a little bit of a comedy slant to it to kind of help give it some levity, which makes sense because he started with Key and Peele doing that whole sketch comedy show. So it's like that's kind of thing. So his movies have like that. There's some comedy in them. It's not just dark, dour, violent stuff like the whole time. So I think you would like his movies just because it's not like a one note. It's pretty layered, all of his movies. So yeah, people should check out Nope. It's really good. It's doing really well at the box office. I was just actually reading an article before we started recording that it's like gonna
Yeah.
be like the top movie this weekend. So
Yeah, it's one of the only movies that I've actually been kind of curious to watch. I kind of want to watch that new Thor movie just for fun. It seems like it'd be fun.
yeah, we went and saw that, and I
No,
was actually excited about it because I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok a lot. And then so there was like, oh, the same
it's like
director
one of
is
the
gonna
best
do
movies
this
ever.
one. Yeah, and this one's not as good. It's
Are you saying that when they introduce a strong female character, it's fucking bad?
no, what I'm trying is
That
that
what you're fucking
what I'm
saying?
saying is that when your movie is trying too hard to be funny,
Yeah.
it's not that as fun. Like it's weird. Like the problem with Thor is that it's like trying so hard to be funny all the time, even
Yeah.
in moments where it's not shouldn't be funny. It's really weird. You're just
Yeah.
like, wait, this is kind of a dramatic moment, but you guys are injecting weird jokes into it. I don't really. It's like
Yeah.
conflicting
Message.
kind of vibe and message in the some
Yeah.
of the scenes in that movie. Overall, it's just another Marvel movie. So if you're in the mood to go watch a CGI heavy action flick,
Yeah, just something dumb. Just dumb.
something to turn your brain off and just, I mean, it's
get
it's
high,
entertaining.
watch it.
There you go.
I bet you could get high and
go
watch
for it.
Nope, and it'd be cool too. But then you have to watch it again because you forget what the fuck is going on. Yeah. It's Jordan Poole. What was his name?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
His movies strike me as almost like if you took M. Night Shyamalan and like who else? Maybe even like Sorkin or like a really good director who makes weird movies about weird people. But you also had like an M. Night Shyamalan kind of like, oh, there's going to be some twists and there's going to be some turns, but in a good way, because I think M. Night Shyamalan kind of sucks, other than like 2 movies. So and that always makes me kind of hesitant because I'm like, well, I could really like it or I could think it's really shitty. And I'm not massive on movies with social commentary, like Don't Look Up or something like that. I just get annoyed with the philosophies involved typically, and so I have to be kind of ready to deal with all that because I'm too opinionated.
I feel like I will say like his movies aren't as like blatant, like ham-fisted as Don't Look Up was like very
ham-fisted
like,
as
over the
possible.
head.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny, but like towards the end of that movie, it was like getting really tired. Like I'm like, okay, I get it. Like but the Jordan Peele movies aren't like, I mean, there's social commentary, but it's almost more metaphoric. So it's like I could see some people watching it and not even really picking up on sort of what they're talking about.
And it should be subtle enough that you can just actually watch the story, and then there's the underlying satire, which I think is important, because I want it to be deep. I like deep undercutting thoughts, but what I don't like is ham-fisted. Oh, this is just about this particular, so like if it's just about how if you don't believe in abortion rights you're a piece of shit, like I don't want to watch that movie. I want to watch something that's way more subtle than that and actually gives a little bit of respect to both sides, even if the person writing it doesn't really believe in both sides. I think it's disingenuous to act like there's only one answer to social problems. Well, and maybe there is sometimes, but I don't think that's true.
That's the challenge of somebody, if they want to be a good writer, is that you have to write and get your message across, but you have to make the message you have to make it feel like the story is telling you what's going on, not the writer. Like, there's like a lot of writers, especially these days, where it's like they're writing at you. They're not like, they're not telling you a story that has like morals and a message inside of the story that they're presenting to you. They're just writing something and just like at you.
It's like,
so it feels like
one
like
character is the right one,
and
everyone else sucks, or you know, this side sucks, that side's great.
It's that it's that like the character is just the writer. It's like
that's what I mean.
The writer didn't really create a character, right? They are the character spilling all of their thoughts and beliefs onto you.
The best way is like the writer takes aspects of themselves and splits it into different characters, and so that like the aspect that is, you know, very certain is over here, but then there's the aspect that's not certain over here, and the aspect that's funny is over here, and the aspect that's like neurotic, and you know, like all the different personality traits of the writer come through in different things, or they really get out of themselves and can incorporate all these different aspects that they don't even have, which is even more adept. But when it is,
that's what you have to do. I mean, that's what I had to do. It was hard to write like the Western Sins trilogy with all the, you know, the blatant fucking racism. And I mean, that was all just based off the fact that I researched how things were back then and how people treated people. And so
what
it's like, it's like you're obviously, I'm not trying to advocate racism or racial slurs and all this stuff, but it's like, it's part of the story. This is how who these characters are, and it's designed to you know, show who they really are and to make you uncomfortable, because you know, that's just,
and it did make me uncomfortable actually a few times in your books, which is why they're more interesting and more memorable and more realistic, because life is not fucking comfortable all the time. My recommendation is a I think underrated movie that I just watched, I think on Hulu, which is called Robots, with Robin Williams and Ewan McGregor and a lot of really good actors. And it has a very archetypal story about like the negative sides of corporations that just want to make money at the expense of everyone else, and then the kind of more generous concept of corporations, where it's more about like helping people and like nurturing creativity and individuality. But it has Robin Williams, and that's kind of why I care. It's him kind of doing what he did as the genie in Aladdin, where he's just doing crazy voices and silly things, and his character is off the wall. And that was fun to watch again, because I haven't seen it in a long time. And I think it's just a nice little romp. It's got some songs, it's got some bad guys. It's, I mean, obviously for kids. So it's got, you know, it doesn't have any like cussing or anything crazy in it. But I just think it's a good movie, and I think a lot of people haven't seen it. So I think I
watched it like one time. I think I watched it once, like maybe in high school or something, like forever ago. Like that's around the time it came out.
Yeah.
High school, middle school, somewhere in there. I remember I only watched like once. I remember enjoying it. I think I was watching it with like some nephews or something.
I think the animation is one of the things I like about it the most. I think it's just the aesthetic of the robots and the humanizing, you know, they're like people, but they're not, the robots. I just enjoy the visual part of it as well. But I could also recommend like season 3 of The Boys. I thought that was really fun. I watched.
I was thinking about that. Yeah,
a couple. I could watch it in like a week or so, just nonstop, just tons of fun shit. I'm glad it was good, because I got bored at season 2. I started getting like, I don't give a shit about her. She's boring. Fucking Huey's boring. Everyone sucks. And then season 3, it's like just smashes you in the face with all this new stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's a show that I hope that show ends in like another season or 2.
Yeah,
like that seems like a show that could run a solid 5 seasons at the most, and it could tell a great story and then just be done. Especially because with the spoilers for the 3rd season for people listening, don't listen to anything else after this. But with the fact that like Butcher is now on like a time limit,
yeah,
it's like, okay,
but perfect. Maybe like not. They can always solve the problem.
I hope that they stick with it. I'm like, stick with it, and then have this show end when he dies. It'd be like, okay, he's gone. Now everybody kind of disperses and goes lives their own lives.
To fucking wrap this shit up, make it good, give it an ending. Maybe the whole world explodes because it's too much greed, too much power, too much this or that, or no one has any powers anymore, by the end of it. Or some in between where, fucking Homelander owns the earth, which is the only real outcome. Like, this dude is unstoppable. Why does he give a fuck about anybody? It makes no sense.
Because the only person that could have stopped him was
Soldier Boy, who is very likely dead. Powers. Very likely dead, but maybe not dead. We don't know.
I don't think he's dead. I think it looked like they just had him that with the gas.
Oh
in
yeah,
his
he's not
face,
dead.
and they
Yeah,
were,
you're
like,
right.
locking
You're
him
right.
up. Yeah.
Well, and then you thought she was dead and she's not dead. So it's just like it's the whole thing you can do whenever you want when you write these things. No one ever really dies
Well, it's
until they do,
because
and then they don't, and then they do.
when you have like superpowers, it's like, what are the rules anymore?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that like you can lose your powers, but like he didn't have that ability before. He only got that after he was did he have that before? I don't know,
I
because
don't
he
think so,
never
'cause
did
they-
that thing with his chest before, and now
Yeah,
he
they
does
seemed
it.
to like surprise the first time he did it.
Yeah,
So I
when he
think
didn't
it
have
was-
control over it. So
Yeah, it
it's
was
like a
really-
new thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then yeah, I enjoyed it. What's funny is like you have the 24-hour V where you can take it and it's untested and you're gonna die if you take too many. But if you just take the tested V that makes you a permanent fucking superpower, you're fine. So why not just fucking take that?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I could see taking the temporary V once, right, to see what kind of powers you got stuck with, and then if
Yeah.
they suck, like if it's
Yeah.
something really stupid, like you
Yeah.
can grow your fingernails longer or some stupid
Yeah.
shit. It's like,
Or you
okay, cool.
attract
I'm not going to worry
60-year-old
about it.
bitches with floppy titties.
Yeah, but if you find out, like in Butcher's case, you get super strong and have laser eyes, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to take the long term
Yeah.
stuff because
Oh,
in
yeah.
my line of work, this is very useful.
Well, and like the Asian girl who is like super powerful, she's like beast
Mhm.
mode.
Yeah.
She loses her powers and then gets them back with the permanent V. So obviously you can do it as an adult. You'll be fine. Just fucking
Yeah.
do it. They had access to it. It was just on the shelf next to it. Why didn't they fucking do that? Also, if you're Homelander,
what's interesting is
why
in
don't you
the,
just kill everybody and take over the world? It makes no sense for him to ever not. Why would he care about anything?
Yeah, what's funny is that in the actual graphic novel series, they actually have powers because they take the V.
That makes sense.
But for some reason in the show, they're playing with it, but then they don't want to do it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like if your whole line of work is to be taking down these superpowered people, why would you not give yourself superpowers to like
Well, and it's
even
like
the playing field?
they act like it's if you have superpowers, you're automatically a bad guy, but they obviously don't believe that because they're friends with superpowered people. So it's
Yeah,
really just
Starlight's
good versus
not bad.
evil. So
Yeah.
give yourself the ability to be the best good person. I don't you're always going to be at this fight anyway because it seems like there's so many superpowers out there. I don't know. It's an untenable premise from the beginning, and that's why it can't keep going. It can't go that long. It has to be
That's exactly
everything has
it,
to
yeah.
explode, or everyone has to stop having powers. Like, there's no way to like have a happy medium where like people are good and they have powers. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's always the problem with like this fictional stuff.
Yeah,
is
stuff.
the more you think about it, the more like holes you start
Yeah.
poking in it, and
Yeah,
it's like anytime you start going into like fantasy stuff and superhero, it's like it's so easy to just start thinking like, well, why don't they just do this? Why don't they do that? Like the infamous Lord of the Rings thing, right? Where it's like, why didn't they just use the flying eagles to fly the fucking ring
Yeah.
over the volcano and drop it in? Would have saved him a lot of time and trouble, no problem. And then people have to like come up with reasons
Yeah.
why that wouldn't work. It's like, well, it's all about the journey, or the Mordor or Sauron would have saw him coming and they would have shot the eagles down.
Yeah.
It's
Or-
like they got to come up with
or
stuff.
he wrote the book and then at the end he's like, well, how do they get home? Oh, there's eagles, and now it ruins the entire story.
Yeah.
Like, because he didn't have the whole thing planned out from the beginning, and like he could have made it so that Gandalf no one can communicate with eagles, and Gandalf learns how to do it partway through the system, and he just he ends up using it at the end. Like,
That's what happens when you get to that point in the
Whatever.
story. Then you're like, fuck, now I got to go back and rewrite some earlier
Yeah.
chapters and make this
Yeah.
work.
or you don't,
I've run
and you
into
make
that.
millions of dollars.
But
Yeah. Anyway, we've overanalyzed enough here and got on some interesting topics. What should we call this episode? We did
I have no idea.
we did
man.
the Gallows.
the
The Gallows. Welcome to my my
Just
what
call
was
it just call it Gallows and gun rights. Gallows and gun rights.
That's what I'm calling it. Gallows and Gun Rats. That has a nice
That's like
ring
that's
to
a
it.
snappy title, man. People are
It's
gonna be like,
fucking
what?
super snappy. That's why we have you around, Channing,
Yep.
because you're the writer.
My
You
snappy titles.
write. I need to have you start writing the titles. Although I don't think I've been doing a terrible job, but not really that
You're
important.
doing pretty good. Yeah.
It's
You do well enough.
all
You're
right.
doing okay.
I'm doing all right.
I'm getting closer to whisper to you.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's get this show at the end of the road and it can fly off a cliff. Channing's got new books. I bet you're working on something right now, aren't you? You
I'm working on short stories. I wrote, I finished
Nice.
a 30-page short story last week, and then I've started working on another one about 10
Are you
pages
gonna
in.
release them individually or as a group?
I think
Or
I'm gonna
not at
just
all.
get
You're like,
a
I'm not
nice-
releasing anything.
I think I'm gonna no, they're actually really interesting. What's been fun with the short stories is it's given me the opportunity to explore interesting, like unique ideas, but not have to commit a year of my life to seeing it all the way through. It's like I can write this small story and
would you be
explore
okay
this
with
idea.
me posting one on my blog, like with your name on it? Obviously.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Like I don't know if you're
I'll,
I don't know what you're going to do with them, if you're going to compile them and then release them as a book, but if you wanted like I could just, you would be like a contributor to my blog and I would just post one of your stories with your name on it and make a thumbnail and then you can you can distribute it if you want. I've never done that
I think
before.
it depends. I think what I'm gonna I think my overall plan is probably to write a collection of short stories and probably release it as like a big volume. But I'd be totally down, like after I get some edited and cleaned up and like ready to go. Like I wouldn't.
Well, we can do one blog, as a teaser for everybody to kind of enjoy it. And if you like, I can give you an idea of what people don't need to hear this. We can figure this out later. Fucking okay. So he's coming out with some stories.
It's true.
And we'll try to figure out how to get you to read them. And then go to Joe's Notes blog. I did some new photo journals. I got that new lens. So I've been testing out the new lens. And I did the new book review. I'm going to have a new book review coming out soon because I'm almost done with the Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, which is book 2 in the series that started with the 5th season. That's on there. And you can get Channing's old books on Amazon. Look up Channing Cornwall or go to the blog and you can probably just type in Channing Cornwall and a bunch of book reviews will show up and that'll take you to the individual books. What else? Send us an email at fleetingthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. And I don't know, fucking vote or don't.
That's it. Yeah, vote or don't. Live your best life and don't shoot other people.
Yeah, don't shoot anybody who doesn't deserve it. Like kids, you fucking assholes. Ugh. I can't imagine if I had a kid, I don't know if I'd send them to school. I don't know. Not that the odds are actually that high that they're going to get shot or nothing. Do you know how many kids go to school every day?
Yeah,
millions and millions and millions and millions of kids,
and only like 14 of them die every day from a shooting.
Well, so it's only.
I'm just joking.
Well, I know it's more than ever should be the case.
Yeah,
and that's not good. But just pray, you'll be fine.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers that'll take
thoughts and prayers that'll get you all the way. Or how's about this? If you're a cop and you're in a position to stop a murder of children, you fucking go in there and risk your life and stop them instead of hanging out in the fucking hallway.
In the hallway, yeah.
Fucks.
Yep.
That. Yeah.
Did you watch that video then?
No, I don't want to watch it.
Oh, okay.
I know the details because I've been listening to things about it, but the more you go into it, the more you want to kill and be mad and hate everything. And I want to live a life of pleasantness. So I distract myself with guitar,
Elden Ring and weed.
Elden Ring, music. I don't really know how you can live a better life. Why are people so stressed out? Like, just smoke weed, play Elden Ring, and learn how to play the guitar, and ignore the rest. Ignore the rest.
Of Joseph Gray.
Ignore what?
That's the
But-
gospel of Joseph Gray.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna live forever
You might.
until I die.
We might live long enough in our lives to see science fix the problem of aging. You never know.
I figured out that my goal is to get to 2084 because that would be 100 years, and I think that's like the goal, right? Like to get to a nice even amount. It's good for my my like ADD or whatever it's called. It's good.
You
for
want to
my,
make it
like,
to 100? You don't
Yeah,
want to die like
think that's a good goal.
97? You're like,
No,
what the
that's-
fuck is
you
like
pussed
prime
out.
number bullshit?
You push the fuck out. I would push it. If I was 97, I'm dying. I'd be like, no, push it. Give me adrenaline. Give me some fucking drugs. Figure it out, doctors. I'm pushing it to 100. It's like if you want to give birth on a certain day and you start going into labor early. Like, no, I need them to be born on you know, whatever day that is. Did dog fart?
No, he's just over here throwing a fit. It's just funny because they usually eat around like 5:30. It's like it's like a
5
little
minutes
after,
late.
and he's like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck, man?"
They've got fucking timing in their head. They know
Yeah.
what's up. They know
Yeah,
exactly
look at
what
this
time
guy.
it is.
He's just down there.
He does
See?
have a watch on, so that's weird. Nice.
He's just hanging out down
Oh,
there,
man.
waiting for. He's like, "What the fuck, dude?" That's where he's been sitting for like the last half.
I know.
hour.
I could
He's
hear him.
staring at me.
Yeah. Where's my fucking food? Dogs are great. I want a dog. Okay, we're done. This is
All right,
ramble.
we're dragging
session.
on. So
Ramble session.
have a good life, everybody.
All right. Peace out,
Until
everybody.
next time.